The Damian Lillard trade talks are heating up. A couple new teams rumored to be involved. And did the Sixers actually contact the Blazers about trading for Lillard? A lot to get into. We'll break it all down here on Philly Take with RB.
Perfect.
What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into the show. Like always, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Drop a comment down below for the algo. Subscribe, ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. It feels like we are finally progressing, getting more traction towards one of these deals actually happening. A lot being thrown around, though. Jake Fischer dropped a bomb of an article, so we have a lot to get into. But what do you think out there? Everybody listening in, do you think Damian Lillard or James Harden will be traded first? Maybe they'll be in the same deal. When will it happen? Training camp is quickly approaching. Give me all your thoughts down below. I don't know. I think something big is going to happen, and I actually have a bold take. I have a bold prediction, so stick around to the end to find out what it is. But before we jump into all the madness, a shout out to our sponsor of today's video, Caldera Lab. They specialize in men's skincare, and your skin is one of the first things that people pick up on when they meet you. People seem to take it for granted. Unfortunately, they neglect their skin until it's too late. The wrinkles start setting in, the old age comes around, and boom, you're wishing you could go back in time. But for you, it does not have to be that way. The products at Caldera Lab are changing the game. They sent me some of their products. I've been using them, and just in a few weeks, I'm already seeing improvements in my skin. They conducted a clinical trial recently and found that 94% of men's skin showed an overall younger appearance after just a couple weeks of using their products. And their product line is very simple. That's my favorite part. You know, I don't want to have to go and dive and do all this research into skincare. I just want to put the products on and let them work the magic. And they just have 3 simple products on their line. The Clean Slate, which is the face wash. Then they have the base layer, which is the daily moisturizer. And last but not least, the Good, which is the little serum that helps reduce the visibility of wrinkles. It has over 3 million antioxidants that help improve and protect your skin. So, like I said, I've been using these for a couple weeks. I've already seen improvements. And if you want to do the same, all you have to do is use this routine twice a day. It's as easy as that. Boom, you'll look younger in no time. And right now, if you go down to the description or the pinned comment and link, you can go to calderalab.com and use code Philly. Take it 20% off at checkout. You will not beat that offer anywhere else. All right, let's jump into it, man. So this coming out last night, just a bombshell of rumors surrounding Damian Lillard. I listened to Woj talk on TV, and it sounded like, you know, things are starting to pick up. There's still no imminent trade, like, okay, it's set in stone or this team or that team, but teams are starting to pick up on it. And Jake Fischer dropped a huge bomb of an article on Yahoo Sports. Check that out. We'll get into that after this. But really, one of the main things he says in here is new teams are emerging as potential destinations for Damian Lillard. But listen, this gets interesting, right? He lists the Raptors and the Bulls as emerging destinations. But listen to the quote. At this juncture, Toronto and Chicago have been the only 2 possible destinations discussed by league figures, while a collection of NBA personnel expect Portland to engage Miami before finalizing something. The Heat have not factored primarily in the Blazers' recent dialogue surrounding Damian Lillard. Then we get another report from Gerald Burgett, and he says that the Pacers could enter trade talks with the Blazers, Heat, and the Suns as a 4th team. So now the Raptors, the Bulls, the Pacers, the Suns, now all listed as new teams that could potentially enter this thing. They say Buddy Hield is a name to watch. Obviously, he was put on the trade block, and they're working with him directly to try to find a trade because they don't want to pay him. We talked about that yesterday. And then we get another report from Kyle Neubeck. And again, I trust Neubeck, man. I'm all the way down with Kyle Neubeck until he proves us wrong, because usually his inside sources are dead accurate. And he says that the Sixers contacted the Blazers to discuss a Damian Lillard trade. Quote, "Here's what I can tell you that I know for sure, that the Sixers have certainly talked to the Blazers about Dame at different points throughout this offseason." I guess that's kind of figured, but the fact that he says it very officially, like, oh, like they were engaging in trade talks. The Sixers are trying to get Dame. We know that Morey tried to get him a couple years ago, but here we are, and they're back reconnecting, re-engaging on that. Let's start off with some of the other teams. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't understand what the Miami Heat are doing. What are the Miami Heat doing? Are they pressing their luck? Are they rolling the dice? The Miami Heat are coming off a finals appearance. Do they think they're going to go back to the finals and make another magic run with undrafted players, more undrafted guys? Do they think that's going to happen? They've sat in the offseason. They've done essentially nothing. And they have been banking all their chips and just playing the waiting game, patiently sitting there for Damian Lillard. And now, we've heard all these other things. Oh, they don't want to give up this piece or that piece for Dame Lillard. And now we're hearing that they're not even the main source of contact for the Blazers. And the Blazers are exploring elsewhere. You know what? Good for Joe Cronin and the Blazers. Good for them. They're not settling. They're not just giving up one of their best players in franchise history for a bag of potato chips. No, they're saying, we're going to get the most value we can. They've stuck by that all along. And if not, Dame's going to have to return. Now, again, Dame explicitly wants to go to Miami. I don't understand what they're doing. What is their mindset? And why are they not going out there and making this happen? Maybe now they'll have more pressure. Maybe this is all smoke. Who knows? But Miami has been very quiet. And I've said all offseason, the Bulls are a wild card. They can go in a lot of different directions based on where they want to take their franchise right now. And if they go out and acquire Damian Lillard, then yeah. I mean, maybe they're trying to compete for a championship. Maybe that's how they, fix things. I don't know. The Toronto Raptors, new coach, it's hard for me to see that happening. But what I will say is that Masai Ujiri is willing to take big risks. We saw what he did with Kawhi Leonard. What happened there, right? Everybody was calling him out, saying it was a terrible decision, got rid of your franchise cornerstone, got rid of the coach. What happened? It resulted in a championship. So, yeah, I don't put it past me that, these teams could really get involved in Damian Lillard talks, and I think that's where it's starting to go. The point about the Sixers, though, being interested in Damian Lillard, I don't see that happening. Number one, what do the Blazers want? They want Tyrese Maxey. The Sixers said they're not trading him. Number two, the Blazers are probably going to want about 4 first-round picks, and the Sixers don't have that to give up. So I don't really see any way that a Damian Lillard trade would happen with the Philadelphia 76ers where he comes to Philly. And again, he's getting older. He's getting more injuries lining up as, the years go on. Really, it would almost be like a Kawhi move. The Sixers would have to bank everything all in, hope that he and Joel Embiid stay healthy, and that they can get one championship and then kind of just play it out after that and see what happens. I don't know if that's really reliable. Then again, can Lillard and Maxey fit in the same backcourt? There's a lot of questions, especially defensively. I don't know. I just don't think that is feasible. But what I do think is that the Sixers could end up entering as a 3rd or 4th team in a trade. Now let's go over to the article with Jake Fischer. He drops a lot of intel here, especially an update with James Harden. He says, even more so than the ongoing dynamic in Philadelphia, where James Harden still hopes to be moved to the LA Clippers. But listen to this. He says, Philadelphia staffers, meanwhile, can talk themselves into the idea of Harden reporting to camp, playing for a title hopeful, and therefore playing his way into the trade value the Sixers require to relinquish the All-Star. How realistic is that? Well, Harden has already claimed that he'll never be part of an organization that Philadelphia president Daryl Morey is part of. I want to say this one more time because you probably all know where I stand with Harden by now. If he comes back, fine. I think he can make the team valuable and he can do his thing. But do I think he's going to come back? No. He said it himself. The last thing we explicitly heard from James Harden is Daryl Morey's a liar and I will never work for him again. People keep trying to bring reason to this. Oh, he's going to come back because of this and that. Yes, that makes sense logically, right? If he wants a future contract and he wants this. James Harden has done this before. There's no way he's coming back. He doesn't want to. He said it out loud. Things boiled over. Things burned. The bridges burned. He's done. He's done. And the Sixers have to end up moving him before this really gets toxic. You have a new coaching tenure. You don't want to start that way with a player who's disinterested and is going to be a distraction. All I'm saying is I'm actually really starting to get excited about Nick Nurse, the way he's talking. I like the fact that there's not a lot of expectations on the Sixers, kind of like how the Raptors were in that first year. And I think Nick Nurse is going to, do wonders for this team. But he also needs more depth pieces. He needs more role players. He needs guys who will buy into the system of Nick Nurse. And he needs guys who want to play there. And, it's a weird waiting game because, again, Daryl Morey said he's willing to wait, until they get the all-star value. He's willing to wait because James and Tobias can expire after this year. Nick Nurse isn't going to go anywhere. So maybe they look into next year when they have all this cap space. But then again, the fan base is on edge. They want to win now. Then again, James Harden, has to make a decision if he wants another contract. So it's really just a stare off. And man, I don't know what's going to happen. Who's going to bite first? I guess it's all about priority, but I just don't think it's going to go well. The Sixers saw what happened when they brought that toxicity into training camp before with Ben Simmons, and I just don't know if they want to go down that road again. People keep saying, oh, well, getting this player, and this player would be a downgrade from Harden. You're not taking into account the guy doesn't want to play in Philadelphia. How much clearer can I make that? He doesn't want to play. So we'll have to see what happens. But Jake Fischer goes on. He talks about the Utah Jazz as another team who could get involved in these talks. He definitely mentions Tyler Hero a couple times, saying that he could go to Utah, or, you know, he could end up going somewhere else in a trade, maybe even the Blazers. All depends on their fit. And even here, Jake Fischer drops this. He says Portland has strongly considered acquiring DeAndre Ayton as part of a multi-team deal for Lillard. So that would end up sending Nurkic out in a trade. And again, this is going to get really compact with different layers. And then lastly, down here again, he talks about Tyler Hero. He even mentions the Nets, who could become a third or fourth team in a trade, the Hornets, right? The Bulls. So, man, there is a lot going on here. All I'm saying is that the Miami Heat have the young players. They have the picks. Why are they messing around, right? Go out and get your guy who wants to be there, pair him with Jimmy Butler, and then we'll see how the rest plays out. But I'm starting to think, okay, here's my bold take. I'm starting to think that a 3 or 4 team deal is going to happen involving both Damian Lillard and James Harden. Yes, that's right. Maybe the Clippers are involved. I'm starting to think that we're going to see a mega team deal where both of those stars are included, and that is really going to shake up the NBA. It's both of those stars have to move, right? There's no way they can really go back to their teams, and they don't want to. They don't want to play there. And it's unfortunate that the NBA has gotten to this point, and that's how it is, but that is how it is, right? And they're going to have to move. Otherwise, these training camps, these teams, these organizations are going to get really messy. And, man, I don't know. I think a big trade is in store. I don't think it's going to be a 2-team trade. I think it's going to be like a 4-team trade. Anyway, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Give me all your thoughts on a potential trade idea down below in the comments. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.